In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to start a YouTube channel with Claude AI, step by step, button by button, using the exact same 5-stage system that I've used to build a channel with over 1.5 million subscribers and personally earn over $10 million from YouTube. And look, I don't say that to flex. I say it because I've also helped hundreds of my community members using the exact same system. And collectively, they've generated over $100 million in results. So when I tell you that this works, I'm not guessing. I've done it. They've done it. And in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you how you can do it as well. So 5 steps, 1 AI, 0 excuses. So if you appreciate me actually pulling back the curtain on the entire process and you want me to make more videos like this in the future, then let me know by gently cheersing that like button, and let's jump into it right now. Now, before we begin, some of the skills or prompts that I talk about in this video will be given away for free. It's going to be the third link in the description and the pinned comment below, so just check down there. All right, step 1 is naming your channel. So let's go ahead and open Claude here, and I'm just going to type, I'm starting a YouTube channel and I want to name it Shane McHummus, and then I'm just going to hit enter. Now, by the way, typically I just talk to Claude. I usually don't actually type anything to it. I just think it's way easier to just use the voice command feature and talk to Claude. Now, while that is cooking, let me tell you why I used my own name or a pseudonym. This is what I call a hybrid personal brand. And basically this means that your channel can evolve with you. So your audience subscribes to you, not necessarily your topic. So when you naturally pivot over to something else in the next 5 or 10 years, and you will probably want to pivot at some point, almost every successful creator does, your audience can follow you, right? So you don't necessarily lose that many people and you don't have to start over from scratch because they came for you. But you might be thinking, but Shane, shouldn't I just use a niche name like Hummus Recipes or Pharmacist Career Tips so that YouTube knows what I'm all about? Yeah, for about 6 months, then it would trap you for the rest of your career. Think about Dunkin', right? They used to be called Dunkin' Donuts. Then, a few years back, they dropped the donuts and they rebranded to just Dunkin'. Why? Because coffee was already outselling the donuts, and sandwiches were a thing, and drinks were a thing. And they wanted to be more than just a donut shop. And honestly, that donut sitting in the name was a ceiling that they couldn't break through. And that probably set them back decades and probably lost them billions of dollars, right? So they paid millions of dollars to just strip one word out of their logo. A multi-billion-dollar company knew that the name itself was the ceiling. That was the thing that was limiting them. They had the data, they had the analytics, and they had the proof. So they paid millions just to rip one word off of their logo in order to have a much higher ceiling. So if Dunkin' had to spend that kind of money to fix a niche locked name, don't make the mistake on day one, name your channel after you. Now, there's several different ways to do this. You can go back and forth with Claude on this, but there it goes. Claude's coming back with a solid, brandable, memorable, personal name. Now, you can ask it to give you several different examples and then choose your favorite one. Your call there, but there's no niche locked into the name, and so I can pivot content without the name becoming irrelevant. Now, one thing that Claude flags that you should always double check, which is pronunciation. McHummus reads one way to some people, MC Hummus, and a totally different way to other people, McHummus. So it's not necessarily a problem, but it is memorable. But just think about things like that and try to be intentional. Hey, quick break. I'm going to be doing a live training this week on how to start a YouTube channel step by step for beginners. This is going to be for people who want to start a channel, but they don't know what niche to pick, what videos to make, or how to actually get started the right way. And it's a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at the training. So just as an example, I'm going to be giving away my niche validator. This is going to be available both for ChatGPT as well as Claude, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss it. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me, and you'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to seeing you in there. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below, put it in your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it or you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link, because we might be having workshops in the future as well, and you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah, hope to see you there. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. All right, so step 2 is to lock in your preliminary niche. And I'm using the word preliminary here on purpose because, like I said before, we want this to be flexible. So I'm just gonna type in /niche validator pro and say, my channel is Shane Hummus, and I will create a channel based on this. I am a pharmacist. So yeah, I'm gonna choose pharmacy because I used to work in healthcare and I used to be a pharmacist. Then I started a YouTube channel and a career business on the side where I'd help people get jobs. And I was able to quit my pharmacy job from that. And now, skipping ahead, while the skill is doing its job, I'm gonna tell you about this niche validator pro and what it's doing in the simplest way possible. So this skill is generating what's called a niche hypothesis statement. Now the format here is I help X do Y, or I help X overcome Y, or I help X overcome Y by Z. Now the X is the who, the Y is the what, Usually it's the problem that you're helping them overcome. And the Z is the how. So don't worry about the Z part right now. That's something you can worry about and take care of later on. And it might sound simple, but this one sentence is the difference between a channel that makes 5 grand a month and a channel that makes 50 grand a month. So think about it like a doctor, right? The general doctor says, I help people feel better. Vague, replaceable, anyone with an MD can do it, right? They're going to be making 200 grand a year or less after going through medical school, getting like probably $300,000 in debt, and they're going to be working really long hours, right? The subspecialist says, I help kids with heart defects survive through minimally invasive surgery. A very specific who, a specific what, and a specific how. And there might be 50 of them that specialize in helping people with this specific ailment that they have on the entire planet. So they're going to be making millions of dollars a year minimum, right? Same job category, but wildly different pay. So the more specific your niche is, the more money you make, the more respect you get, and the better lifestyle you're going to live. So if you can't fill that sentence about your channel, you don't have a niche, you have a vibe, and vibes don't pay. Now, it's asking me questions to give me my niche hypothesis statement, so I'm going to go ahead and answer this. Okay, so first one, what part of pharmacy do I have the most experience in? Retail and community pharmacy. Next question is, what kind of audience do I most want to help? We're going to go with aspiring pharmacists figuring out their career. Last question, long term, where do I want the money to come from? And this is where most people mess up, right? The instinct is to say AdSense or low ticket courses, or maybe affiliate marketing because it feels safer and easier. So I'm going to say high ticket coaching or consulting because 10 clients at $2,000 a month is the same money as 1,000 customers at $20 a month. But it's 100 times easier to find 10 buyers than it is to find 1,000 buyers. Okay, hit enter. Now Claude's cross-referencing everything I just gave it against all the coaching data that I trained it on. It's figuring out which niches will actually make money for me versus which ones will just get views, right? Niches that pay you versus niches that just keep you busy. And here it goes, 4 niche options. Okay, so niche 1 is I help aspiring pharmacists get into and succeed in pharmacy school. Niche 2 is I help retail pharmacists figure out what to do with their career before they burn out. Niche 3 is I help pharmacy students survive school and pass their boards on the first try. But look at niche 4, medication literacy for patients. Claude red flagged this one, right? It looks like Claude pulled from my coaching data and knows the brutal truth. The audience for medication literacy doesn't have a problem that they'll pay to solve, right? They just want free info. So it's great for views, but it's terrible for revenue. And this is the difference between a YouTube channel and a YouTube business. A channel just gets views, but a business gets paid. So I'm going to be picking niche 1. I help aspiring pharmacists get into and succeed in pharmacy school. This is a preliminary niche, like I said, and it is locked in. Does this mean this is going to be my final niche ever? No. This is just a preliminary niche, but it's good enough to get started, and that's the point. Now, if you really want to dial your niche in, if you really want to pick the perfect niche for you, and if you want the advanced version of this niche validator pro skill, both the Claude version as well as the ChatGPT version, I'm actually giving it away for free at my live workshop this week. You can click the link in the description and the pinned comment below to attend that. Additionally, I'll be going over exactly how to pick your niche, how to pick the right video ideas to get views, how to monetize your channel correctly, and a step-by-step guide to get started with YouTube. Plus, at the very end, I'll answer literally any questions that you have. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead, click that link in the description and the pinned comment below, and I look forward to seeing you there. Now back to the system. Okay, so step 3 is find video ideas that win. So I'm gonna type /video idea finder. I'm gonna paste in my niche hypothesis statement from the last step, hit enter. And the skill is gonna be scanning the entire pharmacy niche right now for videos with 100K plus views, from channels with less than 100K subs, and at least a 5-to-1 views to sub ratio. Right? That is the minimum. And ideally, you want videos that have garbage packaging, right? Because you want the videos to be either mediocre or preferably bad. Now, while Claude is doing its job, let me tell you what this skill is actually running. I call it the Icon method, right? And this is named after the legendary finance investor, Carl Icahn. He is the corporate raider who built a fortune finding undervalued companies. But the easiest way to think about this is house flipping, right? So smart house flippers don't build new houses from scratch. It's too expensive, it's too risky, and instead they hunt for ugly houses in great neighborhoods. So if the neighborhood is already proven and people want to live there, the house just needs paint, new floors, and a kitchen renovation. They'll buy it for $300,000, they'll put $50,000 into it, and then they sell it for $700,000. So the demand was already there, but the flipper just fixed the packaging. So this is exactly what we're going to be doing with video ideas as well. And the skill is done, and we can check it out right here. So it is giving me the keywords that it got from vidIQ, and there we go. It gave us 6 video ideas to choose from. So the first video the skill found is I was fired from Walgreens as a pharmacist. It has 195,000 views from a 13,000 subscriber channel. That is a 15-to-1 ratio. That's pretty solid. Number 2, pharmacist profession is dying, 119,000 views, same 13,000 subscriber channel, 9:1 ratio. Another gold mine just sitting right there. Number 3, pharmacist interview Q&A, retail and hospital, 302,000 views, 19,000 subscriber channel, 16:1 ratio. Solid. Now it wants me to pick the first one, which is I was fired from Walgreens as a pharmacist. So it's designed to give you suggestions, but at the same time, you can override it if you think another one is better. So let's go with that one. And it also gave us the reason why this video is good. All right, so step 4 is you want to nail the holy trifecta, right? So I'm gonna type in /holy trifecta, right? Then paste in the video idea that I picked from step 3, then hit enter. And while Claude is doing its job, let me tell you what the holy trifecta is, right? It's 3 things. It's the title, the thumbnail, and the intro. And these 3 things need to be congruent to each other. It's very important that they are, right? It's actually more important that the title and thumbnail and intro are congruent with each other than it is that they're good. Okay, I'm serious, right? You could have a 10 out of 10 title, thumbnail, and intro, but if they're not all pointing in the same direction, AKA they're congruent with each other, then it will lose to an 8 out of 10 title, thumbnail, and intro that are actually congruent with each other and they're pointing in the same direction, right? Every single time. And what this means is whatever the title is saying, it should be expressed in the thumbnail, and the intro also should deliver what the title and thumbnail are saying as well, right? So they should all fit with each other. And the easiest way to think about this is like a movie, right? A great movie is gonna have a poster, a trailer, and an opening scene that are all telling the same story. A horror poster is going to have a horror trailer and a horror opening. So the audience knows exactly what they're getting into. They know that they're watching a horror movie. But a bad movie might have a comedy poster and then an action trailer and then a dark drama opening. Even if the movie itself is really good, the expectation that the audience had when they saw the comedy poster or the trailer is not going to be met with the opening. And so they're probably just going to get up and walk out and probably get their money back as well. And it's going to be a box office bomb. Hopefully that makes sense, but they all need to be pointed in the same direction and congruent with each other. Now, by the way, if you ever don't like any of these things or you need to ask questions or anything like that, again, just ask it questions. Also, I highly recommend that you have it interview you, right? You can literally have it interview you and just have it ask you questions if you're confused about any of these steps and you want to get the best possible outcome. But with that being said, for the purposes of this video, I'm just keeping it simple. Now, the skill's done here. So first thing I check, the congruency score is 9.1 out of 10. And it gave me a title suggestion, which is why I quit retail pharmacy after 10 years. Which is kind of like a confession angle. So it also gave me an alternative title, which I like, and it gave me a bunch more title options. So next is gonna be the thumbnail block, right? So deadpan stare, raised eyebrows, on-screen text reads, retail pharmacy truth. So it gave me more text on thumbnail options along with the expressions that you should have on your face for each thumbnail. And it also gave me instructions on how to design the thumbnail. And it gave me a mock-up that you can follow as a guide to creating the thumbnail. Now, the one thing that Claude is a little bit weak at, and it is getting stronger at this, but it's still definitely lagging behind both ChatGPT as well as Gemini at this point, is certain types of visuals, right? So ChatGPT and Gemini are at this particular moment much better at making visuals than Claude is. With that being said, you can take this mock-up, you can put a picture of yourself into ChatGPT, into Gemini, and then tell it to make a YouTube thumbnail, and you'll probably come out with something pretty good. With our community members, we give them a bunch of templates that are proven to be really good in YouTube, right? We've actually split tested these templates and have worked in many different niches. And so this can kind of tell you what to do, but then you can just use the template and put the text, and then of course replace my picture with your picture, and it'll be good to go. So there's a lot of different ways to do thumbnails. Just for purposes of this video, I'm not going to dive really deep on that, but there's a lot of other content on my channel as well as just content in general on how to make thumbnails. And yeah, it's going to give you a mock-up that you can follow as a guide to creating the thumbnail, and then for the intro block as well. And it gave me 5 intro options. Now the first option is confession/breaking common beliefs. Next is the straight into it option, then is the asking a question option, then the social proof option, and then 5 is the pattern interrupt or stat lead option. Now I'm just going to choose what Claude recommended here, and usually its recommendation is very solid. I have to say that Claude, especially if you're not an advanced YouTuber, is pretty much going to be better than 99% of non-advanced YouTubers, right? Now, if you're a very advanced YouTuber, you can probably make something better than what it originally suggests, but you'll make something even better if you are an advanced YouTuber, if you use Claude to help you come up with better ideas. Now, once I'm happy with the holy trifecta, I'll just paste the title and the thumbnail details. and then I'm gonna have Claude write the scripts for me. And it's gonna write the whole thing for me. Now, here's one thing that I do before I let Claude write a single word. I do what's known as a yap session. So I open up a voice recorder. There's many different ways to do it. You can voice record directly into Claude. You can use something like Whisper Flow. The reason I like Whisper Flow is because of the fact that you can record for longer, or you can literally just take out your phone and do the recorder on your phone. Like there's lots of free apps online that do this as well. It just takes a few extra steps because you have to copy and paste it. But the whole point is I talk, right? I talk off the top of my head like I'm explaining the video to a friend at a bar. No structure, no bullet points, no outline, just me yapping. And I talk about what I want to say, how I want to say it, the stories that I'll want to drop in, the stupid jokes, the hot takes that nobody else in my niche is brave enough to make. And then I feed that yap session to Claude. And that is when I let it write the script. Now, you can let it write the script immediately, or you can have it interview you first, pull more information out of you, and that'll help it write an even better script. Because Claude can't make a script sound like you unless you give it you first. So the yap session is your voice, your personality, your weird obsessions, your hot takes. So Claude isn't the writer here, Claude is the editor. It's taking the messy, beautiful version of you and turning it into something polished that you can read off of a teleprompter. Or it could even just turn it into an outline, but it'll remind you step by step of what you're gonna be talking about. And actually you can have it just do both and then just figure out which one you wanna do. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different there, and everyone has their own preferences in terms of how they actually deliver the content. All right, so I said I was only gonna give 5 steps, but step 6 is posting every week. And I think this one is kind of obvious, but I just showed you the entire system, the name, the niche, the video ideas, the package trifecta, the script, all in a very short period of time. But none of it matters if you don't do one thing, and that is post every single week without fail, without excuses. Think about it like the gym. You don't bench 300 pounds on day 1. You don't run a marathon in your first week of training. You don't lose 50 pounds in 30 days. You get jacked from reps, consistent, boring, week after week. And I would recommend starting with at least 1 video a week. That's where everybody starts. But the sweetest spot, the one that actually makes channels explode, and the ones that makes them explode as fast as possible, is 3 videos a week. And by the way, this is not just vibes. This is based on literally like a lot of tests that I've done. And I think vidIQ found the same exact thing, that people who post 3 videos a week get the most views. And the difference between once a week and 3 times a week isn't double the work, it's 10 times the growth, right? Because 3 a week hits a threshold that the algorithm rewards, right? You show up enough that your audience expects you, and the recommendation engine starts trusting your channel, and the compounding gets brutal in your favor. But like I said, start off with just once a week, get a month ahead, and then once you're a month ahead, then you can try to start doing multiple times a week. But this video is about how to start a channel, not how to grow a channel really quickly. So I'm not going to get too deep into that. Now, each one of these steps used to take like 20 to 40 hours the old way, right? Like if you wanted to make a really good video, it's probably going to take you 20 to 40 hours. But now you can build the entire foundation of your YouTube channel, like name, the niche, the validated ideas, the package trifecta, ready to record script, in as little as a single afternoon. And I've watched my clients do exactly that multiple times in multiple different niches. So if you want to know the exact way that I would do this, and you want help actually picking your channel, picking how to monetize your channel, help making your first videos, et cetera, and a step-by-step guide to get started, then go ahead and join me by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below to attend my live training this week. Additionally, you'll be getting that AI that I talked about before that'll help you pick your niche or dial in your niche. And this AI is available with both Claude as well as ChatGPT. Plus, at the very end, you get to ask me questions live on Zoom. But here's the thing. Knowing the system isn't the same as running the system. And running it at the level that my best clients run it at, like Josh making $180,000 in a single month, Nicole making $80,000 in a single month, or Sean making $500,000 in a single month, that requires people who have actually done it. So if you're serious about this, and I mean serious, not curious, we want to help you. I'm opening up 3 to 5 spots on my coaching team right now, and this is intensive one-to-one coaching. And these spots are for 4 types of people. 1, complete beginners who need someone to literally hold your hand through the first 90 days. We've taken total beginners from 0 to their first 10 grand a month over and over again. At this point, we've helped countless amount of people make full-time incomes from YouTube. 2, people who tried YouTube before, uploaded a few videos, got 47 views per upload, and quit because you didn't know what was wrong. We can help you fix what's wrong, and usually it's one of the 5 steps that you just watched. Now, by the way, for these first 2 categories, typically we only work with people who are very serious about growing and making money on YouTube, and we work with them in a done-with-you one-on-one coaching capacity, or we just literally do the work for you. A lot of the time, the types of people we work with are a bit on the older side. They're professionals, they're experts, and they have value to give to the world. They can solve other people's problems. Then 3 is creators with subscribers but no money. right? So channels with 10K, 50K, 100K plus subs that are pulling in $200 a month and they can't figure out why. Now, typically we only work with educational channels here, but we've taken people in your exact situation to 5 figures or even 6 figures a month. And then 4, business owners who want to use YouTube to bring in qualified leads for your existing offer. Now, this is the highest leverage path because YouTube plus Claude AI plus a real business is obscene amounts of leverage. So my client Felix, for instance, used this exact pipeline to scale to #1 in his particular investing niche, and he makes multiple 8 figures a year off of one YouTube channel. Now, this is for online businesses like coaches, consultants, online service providers, agency owners, and expert type businesses, but it also is working for a lot of different types of local businesses. So realtors, for instance, we're seeing a lot of success with realtors or real estate related businesses. Law firms, we're seeing a lot of success with them. Cosmetic dentists, we're seeing tons of success with them. And also financial advisors, as well as insurance type businesses too. We're seeing a lot of success with them as well. So if that sounds like you, go ahead and click the link in the description in the pinned comment below, book a call, we'll talk. And if we're fit, you're in. If not, no hard feelings. You'll still get value from the call, whether we end up working together or not. But with that being said, only book the call if you're very serious about growing and making money on YouTube. We only accept about 18% of people who book, and we're actually getting more and more picky as time goes on. With that being said, check out this video right here where we talk about exactly how we help Sean grow to $500,000 in a single month on YouTube.